Okay, guys, let's start quieting the table talk. Thank you. Yeah. First off, let's give Steve Taylor and the crew a big hand. Thank you for an incredible meal. Hi, my name's Daley, and I got a big voice, and that's why I'm up here. And I have the mic. But we are so glad you are here, and we are glad that this morning is happening. So let's go ahead and get started. We are here to learn more about our friend Stanley. Stanley has been at First Press since 2013. He was an usher for several years, and he is a member of this Men's Connect crew. Stanley survived under very dangerous circumstances and in a unique way. He found a faith which is central to his life today. He will be interviewed by Steve Hawkins in order for him to share his amazingly compelling and inspiring life story. Let's welcome Stanley.
Stanley. Get back here, Stanley.
Just nervous, man.
Thank you, Daley. Good morning. Look at this crowd. You're a rock star. This is my special friend, Stanley Durden. Stanley and I are here today to share his remarkable life story, and that began with him growing up under life-threatening circumstances. You'll know soon how life-threatening. And it includes him ultimately finding faith while being incarcerated at San Quentin. I'd like to introduce two special guests this morning. One is Dave Kelly. Dave, can you stand? Dave and his wife, Martha, were longtime First Pres members. Dave, Stanley would tell you, has made an amazing difference in Stanley's life. He's made his life more comfortable and, frankly, more workable. Thank you, Dave, so much for everything you've done for this guy.
Thank you, Dave.
Amen.
And second, my wife, Linda.
I see you back there.
Linda and I first met this guy when he first started coming to First Pres. We noticed him in a pew across the way, sitting on his own. So Linda went over and invited him to join us. He's been with us ever since. And we've come to know and love and admire this man greatly. I've written down a number of qualities about him that cause us to admire him. Stanley, at his core, is a wonderful, humble, reasonable, reliable, and honest man who centers his life on Jesus Christ. But Stanley's journey getting to where he is today has been a challenging one. And I'd like to settle us down here and allow him to tell you that story.
All right. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, and Miss Linda for coming.
You have an echo going on.
That's good. Here. Somebody. You'll be okay. Okay.
Stanley, when were you born?
I was born in 1958 in Los Angeles. I was raised on the east side of Slauson and 64th and Hooper. That's the east side, bad east side of LA.
So you grew up you come from a large family.
Yes.
And tell me, how many brothers, how many sisters?
I had 6 brothers, including me, 7, and I had 5 sisters. 2 of them have passed, and 3 of them are still alive.
How would you describe your mom and dad?
My mom, she was a wonderful woman. She brought me up. She brought me up in a good house, around good family members. I chose when I got a certain age, around 11, I chose to do the things I wanted to do.
Yeah, we'll get into those.
I'm just saying.
But she was a real solid rock for you.
She was really solid. It's tough. Yes, she was a mother that I cared a lot about. I loved her and I miss her.
Now, you've described her as a prayer warrior.
Yes, that was one thing that I really liked about my mom. I didn't know, as I was coming up, I didn't know Jesus. And she would always be in the room with the door shut praying. You know, that's one thing I really liked about her.
Your dad was a hard-working man.
Yes, sir. He worked at 2 jobs in LA. And he kept food on the table, kept everything in line.
For a very large family.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So eventually you went to school. And tell me a little bit about your school experience.
Well, in school, I was going to school on the east side of LA. And at a young age, while I was in school, I say at least the 3rd to 4th grade, I was leaving school.
You did school.
I used to do school
Yeah.
and didn't have time to sit in class to get that education I needed.
Yeah, notably reading. You really didn't learn how to read.
I didn't learn how to read until I got in I got incarcerated.
Yeah.
And that was a young age, but I still didn't know how to read until I came to prison. I went to prison in 2000.
There you go. Thanks, Roland.
Sure, Roland. I went to prison in 2000.
No, we'll get into that.
Well, in my life, during the time I was in school, I got into trouble at a young age, and that didn't bother me at the time.
So in your neighborhood, so you just, at a point, you just quit going to school at all?
Yes, yes.
And in your neighborhood, was there any, tell me about the small bakery that was in your neighborhood and how helpful they were.
I lived in LA at the time, and I was around 8 or 9 years old. I used to leave school and go to this bakery that was right across the street on Slauson and Fifth Avenue in LA. And I used to ask the lady, did she need anything from the store? And she would send me to the store for her to buy and little stuff. And I'd come back, and that's where when I was ditching school, that's where I used to go.
Well, as you got older, you had a lawn working or landscaping job.
Yes, I used to cut lawn for several months of years.
Okay.
Instead of going to school.
Keep your.
Instead of going to school, I used to ditch school and go to the bakery for the rest of the time I was supposed to be in school.
So there was a gang or crib in your neighborhood, in your area.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about what you had to do to be part of a gang, a crib.
Well, at the time, when I became a crib, at the time, way back in '72, you didn't have to get jumped in. You didn't have to get jumped in as they do now today. In order for you to be a gang member, you have to get jumped in.
Jumped in means you had to get beat up to be a member. Well, you chose not to really join a crib.
I chose to join a crib, but it was like in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood I was living in, everybody, the majority that went to school, I went to Horseman Junior High School. Majority of that school became Crips.
Okay. When did you begin committing crimes, and what were those crimes?
Well, I was snatching purses. I was robbing people, burglarizing their homes. I was doing a lot of crime committing. I was committing a lot of crimes at that time.
But I think you told us that you had a gun, but you never carried it.
I had a gun, and I shot up in there one time, and I got rid of the gun.
You had 2 gunshot incidences.
I had 3 of them.
You only told us about 2.
I got skint. That's the 2 I got skint, you know.
Tell us about the ones that were serious, in particular, the one that you have permanent injury.
In 1973, in December of 1973, I was over at my sister's house. They was doing a party. And instead of me staying there with my family, me and a friend of mine went around the corner, and went to a party. We went around the corner and we went to a party, and I was in the back in the garage dancing with one of my friends, and they came back. Excuse me, they came back there and told me your brother out there fighting. So I went out there, and I was in the driveway before I got to the front yard. This guy came around. Boy, he was blood. At the time, it was Bloods and Crips. Well, anyway, I don't know what I said to him or what he said to me. Next day, you know, when I woke up, I was in the hospital, General Hospital, downtown in LA.
And you were shot.
I was shot on the left side of my nose, on the side, and the bullet's still in my head.
Can you imagine being shot in your face? So you had significant injuries from that
Yes.
have lasted your entire
Yes.
life.
Yes. My right side was paralyzed, you know, and it took me quite a long time to gain my strength, my arm. It was hard. It was tough. It was tough.
So these crimes you were committing, you would get arrested for them.
Yes.
And go to juvenile hall to begin with, but then on to jail and prisons. And it turned into a cycle for you, didn't it?
Yeah.
You would commit a crime, get arrested, go to jail, come out, and commit crimes again, and get arrested again. What was causing you to commit those crimes?
I was using drugs real heavy. and that kept me committing crime. That kept me committing crime using drugs, and when I didn't have any money, that's when I went out to do the things that I used to do.
So this cycle of committing crimes, being arrested, going to jail, going to prison, eventually caught up with you in the form of a law that existed at that time called the 3 strikes you're outlaw, right?
Yes, yes.
And that meant that you got sentenced to a long sentence. What was that sentence?
It was, well, before I got sentenced, I had a petty theft, and they came to me with a deal for 25 years, and I didn't take it. I took it all the way to trial, and they found me guilty, and they gave me 25 to life for a petty theft.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, just about that crime. Why did you want to go to trial that you would think that you were going to get off? Like,
The case was carrying 16, 2, and 3. And like I said, I told them no. And I had to take it all the way to trial because I didn't think for the crime that I committed carry that much time.
Because a lot of your crimes were relatively minor. I mean, I don't mean to trivialize, but robbing people or businesses isn't trivial. But 25 years to life, yeah. So when you were incarcerated at San Quentin, what did prison life feel like to you? Was it threatening?
Yes, it was. It was like that. Especially if you was a gang member and you coming into prison, you had to be around your peoples. You know, you had to be around guys that's still in the game. You know, they call the shots from in prison. I had one fight while I was in prison at San Quentin.
Were you disabled in prison?
Was I disabled?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I went to school. I didn't do no work or anything.
So off and on, as you went to various jails, prisons, etc., you regularly went to church, but it really didn't settle in with you. You really didn't find a meaning out of it. Is that correct? Until you got to...
You can't say, because I was going to church, but I was going there just to be there. You know, but I didn't know, I was going there just to be there, and I didn't know how important it was while being locked up to go to church. But when I ain't gonna, excuse me.
So eventually, of course, that's going to change at San Quentin.
Yes.
What kind of schooling did you experience in San Quentin?
In San Quentin, at one time, I'm saying like this, at one time, my ability to read, I couldn't read nothing at the age I was in San Quentin, but I was going there to learn how to read in San Quentin, and I really think that I really increased my reading level, you know, but I'm still sort of slow, you know, I'm still sort of slow, but I can manage.
You're a good reader. You're a good reader.
Thank you.
There were tutors that would come to San Quentin to teach you how to read. Was that must have been extremely helpful?
Oh, it was. They was elderly women, and they used to come 3 times a week, you know, and we used to sit around, you know, and read different little books. So, reading different books, you know, that's education-wise.
Now, those are the women that you've told us about, or these are tutors?
Yeah, all 3, when I got out of prison, all 3 of those women, I was talking to John, letting Brother John know about it, and they used to come up, like I said, and tutor me, but when I got out, it did so many wonderful things for me, you know, and they was Christians, except one. But they helped me very much.
Yeah, including writing letters on your behalf.
They wrote letters to the judge, and they was the first one that told me that I was gonna get out. I didn't know it at first, and so until they told me.
So it's clear that they made a difference for you in being released, but also because they were Christian women and your regular attendance at church at San Quentin.
Yes.
You became a Christian. You became a man of Christ.
Yeah. from 11, when I was going to juvenile hall, and after 73. In 75, I was going back to jail for crimes I was committing with a disabled right side, doing the things to get more drugs, PCP, Sherman, and
Yeah.
all those things.
So these people that were helping to you saw something in you, didn't they, Stanley?
Yes, they really did, and I truly thank them for what they did for me. It was hard, but I really, I liked the three of them.
Did you, because you were becoming a man of faith, did you feel the hand of God at that time?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Be truthful with you, when I got out, that's when I really started giving the Lord all my time.
Giving Lord all your time.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were released from prison in 2013.
In 2013,
And what financial and transportation help did you get when you were released?
they gave me $200. That's what they give you when you get out. When you get out of prison.
$200.
Yeah,
Okay.
They gave me $200, and that what got me up here. I didn't want to go back to LA, and that got me up here.
So how did you decided to come to Berkeley? How did you get to Berkeley?
I caught the Greyhound, and they let me out right here on San Pablo and on Telegraph, the Greyhound bus station. I got dropped off right there, and I don't know what bus I caught to downtown. It was on a Saturday, and that Saturday I came up here.
So you came up to this area and spent a night or two. Where was that?
My first night, well, once I got off the bus, I walked around down there in Berkeley, downtown, and I was thinking about where I'm gonna sleep. I was thinking about where I was gonna sleep, and I ended up sleeping right across the street in the hedges over there. And I woke up that Sunday morning and straight, I didn't look at nowhere else but over here to this church. And I've been coming here ever since 2013, June the 29th.
So talk about the hand of God. God brought you across the street to First Pres.
Yes, sir.
So after that night, or those night or two, sleeping behind the hedges, where you slept out again for a couple more nights?
No.
Is that?
I slept out here Saturday night and Sunday night. I slept on Sunday night. I slept right across the street from Berkeley Police Department. Over next to that, it's that building over there, next to the police station.
Yeah.
I slept on the ground. Then I woke up at the wee hours of the morning and slept up on the stairs where they were sleeping on the ground.
Who made you feel particularly welcome at First Pres?
It was Pat
Phillips.
Phillips, and then after Pat Phillips, Linda, his wife came, Steve's wife came over and spoke with me. And ever since then, they welcomed me, and right then I felt okay, and it was sort of strange how he came and spoke to me, and it was real touchy to me. They took a liking right there at that moment, and that really made me feel real good.
And Dave and Martha Kelly were significant at that time.
Well, I it's a joke. This is a joke I'm about to say. That guy, Dave Kelly, he was something else. That's a good man. We used to, they called for prayer. They didn't want a prayer. So I went up there, and that's how I met Dave Kelly. And being him ever since, it's like he used to be my teacher, and we used to study this book together, 101. Is that right, Dave?
Yep.
Yes.
That's what I remember.
Yes, that's how I met Dave and his wife, Marie Martha.
So you did get some strong feelings of
Yes.
welcome at
Yes.
this church.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Shortly after that, you identified a place to live. How did that happen?
Monday morning, I went to this place they call Hawkins right there on Center and Martin Luther King. It's a homeless shelter for people that's homeless. And then if you went to court and you had a crime and committed a crime and it was dealing with drugs or something else, they'll send you there, and that's where I went. And ever since from then, I stayed in there for about 2 years, and things have been so right with me.
You work today. Well, how did you get work? How did you?
I went to Ed Robinson right here on Adeline and Ashby, right off of Ashby, and I spoke with this man. He used to work. I don't remember what he was. I don't remember exactly what he was. But anyway, he had told me about this handicap thing. I went up there, and ever since I've been working at the federal building.
How do you feel about going back to LA?
I want to go back, but I don't want to go back at this present time because I feel as though I might fall again. Get back into that crime life. Smoking, that's why I didn't want to go back down there, because I knew if I would have went back down there to stay, I'd be right back into drugs and being around the rowdy people that I used to be around.
You have felt a strong calling from God to tell your story to people that could be positively impacted by it. Do you feel like that's God, the Holy Spirit calling you?
Oh yes,
I believe the Holy Spirit, Stanley, is going to provide some opportunities your way. Looking back on your life and all the crossroads you've gone through, you feel today like God was behind you at each one of those crossroads.
Oh, yes. Oh, he was. God was with me all the time, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of coming to me. God don't want me doing the things that I used to do.
You know what, Stanley? Your mom would be so proud of you. Your mom would be so proud of you.
Definitely.
And you know what? God is proud of you. And so are all of us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Have you had any contact with your family?
Yes, in 2018.
Stanley said he wants to send the video of this presentation to his family.
Amen. Amen.
I think the video to this presentation is going to get a lot of mileage.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Me. Well, along my travels, Stanley, I've met a lot of people who could use your help. And you have a story that's quite compelling, and I can tell you, for one, you can change lives, and you're changing mine as we are talking right now.
Amen.
I have a good friend, and he has had a ministry at San Quentin for 25 years. Does the name Willis Wright?
Yes, I know Miss Wright.
Right.
Yeah, I know
He
him.
and his wife.
Yeah.
Well, I am honored to say he's one good friend
Oh,
of
yes,
mine.
he is.
I'm in a Bible study and prayer group with him
Oh, yeah.
every week. So I'm gonna,
When you see him, excuse me, when you see him again, tell him I said mine.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you know Dennis Pratt?
Yes, I did know Dennis Pratt. He's a short,
He's a
white
great
guy.
friend of mine.
He needs to have that video
Good
as well,
man.
because he still carries on a prison ministry.
Okay.
He's quite a remarkable man.
Okay.
See,
Also, this video should be shown in Marin County Jail and every county jail where they're populated with young people who are trying to stay out of drugs, but it's impossible. What you said, when you go back to your neighborhood, that pusher is on top of them as soon as they're out of jail,
Mhm.
and they're back to their old life.
Yeah.
You need to be the example for them to strive for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Lynn, want to say something to Mark?
You told us before a little bit about how the faith community within San Quentin was important at sort of protecting you or giving you a group that had your back. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
As my brother just said, the person was
Dennis?
Dennis Pratt. It was about 3 white guys and the rest African American, different races there. And every time we used to meet out in the yard, we have Bible studies, and it was tremendous. It was touching. All the guys that was incarcerated with me was mostly Christians. And right now, today, these men have wonderful jobs. There's two of them that's preachers already, you know, and they really touches those little youngsters and other people's, you know, lives, you know.
Mark Frisbee.
Kind of a two-part but related question. My understanding is that at some point you were sentenced to 25 years to life. Are you right in front of the church?
Yes.
How old were you?
In 1998.
Okay.
Okay.
1998. So my question is, for you, what led to your early release?
My early release,
Well, you didn't.
The three strikes. The three strikes are lots.
You were in for 25 years to life, and starting in 1998, 25 years would have been 2023. Obviously, you got out of prison earlier than that.
I got out of prison 2013. They passed that 3 strikes on those that had the petty thefts, you know, that already have served time for the time that they had committed those crimes. And what they was doing is going back to the first time maybe you ever got arrested in the past, you know, which you already did time for. And they was trying to, not that they was trying to, they did, come out with that 3 strikes laws, and the first person that received the 3 strikes law was that person that took that piece of pizza. A black American that took a piece of pizza, they gave him 35 years, you know, for life.
Okay. I was just wondering if your involvement with religion
Yes.
had something to do with.
Oh yes, it had a lot. It had a lot to do, you know. The children of God, like it says, the prayer of a faithful warrior availed much. And that's what they were doing for me. They were standing on their knees, seeking the Lord for everyone.
Wasn't your case heard before
Yes.
the United States Supreme Court?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, I can tell you what I know of, and I can't tell you the full story. They took it all away, and they sort of had me on, how can I say, the back burner. They weren't for sure of that day. I mean, to me, now this is just to me, you know, that it seemed like they weren't for sure wanting to let me out. You know, and as I said, you know, my family, now I don't know if all my family and other brothers and sisters in Christ was praying for me.
But lawyers were involved. How did that happen?
I don't know. No, I mean, you know, I don't, which why I'm saying I don't know, because I don't know how it went, really. I'm not, you know, I can't speak on it. I don't know how it went.
Dave, do you have more background?
I can speak to that. What happened was Stan. Oh, that's okay.
Go ahead.
Please, Mike. We can hear you.
You knew you were gonna get up here eventually.
No. You've all heard enough of me anyway. What happened was Stan, I learned this a few years ago myself. Often in cases where people think there's injustices, you look around for appropriate plaintiffs, people who can make the case before the courts. And what happened was Stan was contacted by such people who wanted to do away with the 3 strikes law, or the implications of the 3 strikes. Stan was released in the end because of the voters. You voted out in one of the referendums that implication of the 3 strikes law. What happened in Stan's case was in 2001, and you can read it, the Supreme Court can on appeal, hear a case or decide not to hear a case. Most cases they don't decide, Mark knows this. 2 two justices, Justice David Souter and Justice Breyer, wanted to hear Stan's case, and so they wrote a dissent to the denial certiorari, where the court said, we're not going to hear Stan's case. But what they were pointing out was the unfairness of Stan being convicted on a third strike for, I think it was $47 worth of goods. The unfairness, and I can't remember whether it was an Eighth Amendment cruel and unusual punishment, or if it was an application due process. I don't recall what the point was they were making. But they wanted to use Stan's case to overturn, or at least address that before the whole court. Frankly, the court as it was composed then, very likely would have done something in Stan's favor. But you, the voters, in the end did it. What Stan didn't share, and I'd like to just make a moment of this, was Stan literally was out of prison the same day he learned of it. But with all that little preparation, you can imagine what that looked like for Stan just being thrown out on the streets. One other thing I'd just like to make, and because, as you know, I used to attend here, and that's how Stan and I met. As a community of faith, you all have these opportunities too. And here's why I say that. Not only because God brought Stan to me through the prayer room, but also that Stan actually got his job at the Federal Building in a long series of events through a woman by the name of Virginia Martin, who was with the Goodwill Industries here at the time. And we got Stan together with Virginia, if you remember, and she opened some doors for Stan. So I just would challenge you, men, in your own faith walk, who is God putting in your life as a part of this community of faith that you can reach out to and be to Stan, or Stanley, as he's more frequently called apparently, where you can make that difference to them. Because I'm nothing special, but God allowed me to be with Stan in this part of his walk. I would ask you, who in your life has God put before you, and you just need to step into it. Knowing what you believe about the gospel, knowing what you want to share, knowing how that's a part of your Christian walk as well.
Amen.
Quite the story, isn't it? Yes, sir.
What's your last name?
Durden, Durden, D-U-R-D-E-N.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your attention. Stanley Durden.